All right, good morning, coffee and football. This is the Patriot Football League. This is the year 2046. We are in our 27th season, our 27th campaign in this career, the longest I have ever run, counting computer games, computer simulations, pen and paper football. This goes all the way back to our start with pen and paper. Then we went into flash football. Then we transitioned into grid zone, and then we transitioned back into my game, football time, and then we even used drive time football for I think 2 seasons, as I had John radar teams for those, and then we're back into football time, as this is, bar none, my favorite football game. So I play, of course, more of this now than anything, and now that the definitive edition is done in all its glory, there's no reason I can't play full sims as well as fast sims and also compile all stats. So with that said, we got a big game here. These two teams go back all the way to the beginning of the league. They are both 27 years old. Columbia's won 7 championships in 27 years. Dayton has won 4 titles, or 3 or 4 titles in 27 years. I have that written somewhere in my history books. But either way, and actually Dayton has won one of its titles of late at the expense of the Columbia Coolers. The last time Dayton won, I believe, was 43, and last time Columbia won was 44. And so these two teams have been solid over the last couple of years. Columbia, though, is rough this year. They were 0-2. They found a way last week to win a game. They were 0-2, having lost to MBT 26-19 in week 1. Week 2, they lost a heartbreaker by 1, 24-23. And then last week they righted the ship against an 0-3 San Fran team, 26-23. So Columbia is now 1-2 on the road at the Triangle Park facing Dayton Triangles. Dayton was 2-0 going into last week when they faced the best defense in football, the Northborough Tigers, and lost 20-7 at home in front of hometown fans. They are 2-1 coming into this game. Northborough, with that said, by the way, they and Plattsburgh are currently undefeated. They may remain undefeated. They don't meet until next week when MBT travels to Plattsburgh. So I'm hoping that those two will stay. Oh, they will be. No, MBT has a game this week. So I was hoping they'll both be undefeated for that game. It's going to be amazing. So for those who have not seen, I did my stat generation tutorial on how you generate stats. I caught both these teams up for week 4, as I had not been playing the Patriot Football League since January. A couple days ago, I knocked out 5 or 6 games to catch me up here, but I had not updated stats. So coming into this game, Kingfisher on the averaging on the season, he is averaging per game 37 attempts for 20 completions on 37 attempts for 219 yards. He's averaging 54% completions. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. And more importantly, he's averaging 5.9 yards per attempt. So ideally, you want to be in pro football, you want to be in the high 7s, high 8s to be a Super Bowl champ. Again, this is not based on current modern NFL football, etc. It's based on NFL averages over the year. But either way, 5.9, not great. Their back, Newman, is averaging 15 carries a game for 70. He has also recorded 3 touchdowns. But more importantly, Newman has also caught 2 touchdowns out of the backfield. Their top receiver is averaging 6 catches a game for 69 yards, and he has caught 2 touchdowns on the season. So right now, looking at this data, Kingfisher is probably slightly more efficient quarterback than Dayton's Wallace. But Wallace is averaging 41 attempts a game, completing only 21 of them. He's completing only 51% of his passes for 234 yards a game. He's averaging 5.7 yards per attempt. And he's had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he has had less touchdowns, and he's averaging 0.2 of a point less per attempt, and he's throwing the ball quite a bit more. Well, 4 attempts more per game. Their back, though, Robinson, is averaging 18 carries a game for 86 yards, and he has scored 4 touchdowns rushing on the season. He has not scored out of the backfield catching a pass, although he has caught 12 balls in 3 games. Davis, on the other hand, their star receiver, has caught 6 balls for 70 yards a game, and all 3 touchdowns for the Dayton Triangles have come by way of Davis. and we are going to play. So that'll bring everybody up to date. Now, that doesn't give me, I haven't been able to compile every team's stats yet. So I'm going into week 4, and I still haven't caught up everybody's stats. So I don't really know who's leading. So I don't know. It's conceivable Wallace is leading the league in yardage, for instance. But I just don't know that offhand, so I can't speak to it. But we are having to use the revised, this is not a bad thing. We're having to use the 3rd edition because I have yet to receive my definitive edition book in the mail. But the good thing about this version is it still uses the scoring paradigm for the possessions as well as the event chart and the touchdown chart that are in the definitive edition. The only thing this book doesn't have is the complete game simulators, and it doesn't have the stat generation formulas in it. It's meant for you just to grab, make teams, and play games. And the original 3rd edition, you were meant to just match up teams from history and just play them. There was no team generation. There was no career mode. So at least the revised edition allows you to make teams and everything. Okay, so but the scoring charts, the possession scoring charts, the event charts, and the touchdown charts are the same ones that are in the definitive edition. So in that sense, this will be played with the same engine. All right, here we go. Columbia. Dayton gets the ball first by the nature of the rules, as the hometown starts with the ball, so the hometown gets the ball first or last, and they will also get the ball first if we go into overtime. That is the home field advantage in my game. All right, Dayton Triangles coming here with a B offense versus a C defense. So B versus C is B. So Dayton right now looking at B, which is good for them. And Columbia with a B offense versus a B defense. B versus B is C. So Columbia is going to have a slight disadvantage on the road here against Dayton. All right, John Turnbull's the owner, longtime owner. He has owned the Dayton Triangles since we started this league. I want to say back in 2018, 2019. I don't even remember when we started this league, but it was a long, I think it was pre-COVID. He's got a GM, Tim Jackson, who's new. Phil Barnhart's the new head coach. Cower retired after winning their 3rd title, I think, in their history. The quarterback Wallace, Robinson, I talked about. Davis is their top receiver. Their key defensive players are Gibson, Van Noord, and Brandeis. McDowell is their kick returner. Anthony is their place kicker. On the flip side, again, Dale Branham, the most successful franchise in our 27-year history. More wins, more championships than any other team in our history. Dale Branham, the owner. Dale Branham, the GM. Armin Ruiz is the head coach. He favors offense, which is one reason their defense can't get out of this C hole, because he tends to favor offense. Kingfisher is a rookie, won the championship. He is the image on the cover of the original Football Time Complete book. So if you have that book with the color quarterback in the light blue, and the blue helmet, light blue, gray uniform, that is Kingfisher. And in that book features the championship Coolers as the sample team and the entire Patriot Football League rated from the 2045 season. So that's Kingfisher. He's kind of, as a rookie, came in and won it all. Newman, their back, I've talked about, really catches well out of the backfield. It's already got 5 touchdowns on the season, 2 out of the backfield. Swanson, their top receiver, with the other touchdowns. We have Tapper, Barnwell, and Oscar, their top defensive players. Jackson, the return man, and their kicker, Klein, who has had a suspect career so far. Here we go, though, folks. The Dayton Triangles go to work as they get the ball to start the opening drive in front of fans. Dayton coming off a miserable performance against the MBT, as we have seen in the tutorial stat generation, and they lost 20-7 as this offense was just shut down. Here we go. Dayton is going to score, I believe. Let's double check. They're looking at B. B is 7. Touchdown for Dayton, and we're going to be looking at 14. It's a touchdown for Dayton. 14 is a seam pass out of the backfield. Robinson catches his debut touchdown this year. So Wallace, holy cow, a seam pass to the running back. So we call that a Texas route. So those who know football, the running back comes out of the backfield at an angle, and then he floats back into the middle on a little Texas route. And they call it Texas because with all the other routes, it looks like you're looking at the state of Texas on a play sheet. A seam route, though, you're generally going right up the middle of the field. So either way, you take that Texas, and maybe as the linebackers fold in close, he just goes up the seam. Wallace finds him. And this is going to be Robinson. Seam pass. Touchdown. Beautiful. So Wallace and the Triangle fans are on their feet cheering as the Coolers have already. Armin Ruiz favors offense, and it has kept his team kind of sandwiched in the C category the last couple of years. Here we go for We're looking at 4. 4 on the C chart is 3 points, though. Good for them. They drive down, and Klein, who has had a rough year, nails a field goal for him. Very nice. Here we go. The Dayton Triangles back to work. 4 for them on the B chart is going to be a touchdown with a missed PAT. How do they score? Oh, 5. This got to be interesting. Quarterback long pass to guess who? Davis. Wallace throws his second. This one a bomb. Long pass to Davis, but the PAT fails. Folks, their kicker chokes. Maybe it was blocked, we don't know, but a bomb to Davis. And the fans here in Dayton on their feet as Wallace shaking off what the MBT did to him last week. He threw 2 interceptions last week against the best defense in football. Columbia Coolers go to work. 4 on C is another field goal. So either way, they're hanging in there. They need to start scoring touchdowns, though, folks. Columbia 6, Dayton 13. It's a 7-point game going into the second quarter. Here we go. Dayton now starts the second quarter. Fans restless. They want to see them put... Columbia has been a thorn in Dayton's side. Let's put it this way. Columbia has won more championships at Dayton's expense. Dayton has won most of their championships at Plattsburgh's expense. And the Northborough Tigers have not been picky about who they beat for titles. However, Northborough's beaten Dayton to break up a back-to-back twice. So they beat Dayton twice, breaking up a chance for Dayton to win back-to-back titles. So Northborough, I would think Dayton hates Northborough more than anybody. Oh, Dayton's going to score again. Another touchdown. Unfortunately, their place kicker, maybe it's poor weather here. Is it a touchdown pass? Let's look. 9-13, I think it is. 13, yep, quarterback. So Wallace is lighting up the airways with a post pass to the tight end. That is, well, I'm just going to put tight end. I don't have his name right in front of me. I can't remember now offhand what his name is. And the PAT fails. Unbelievable. I don't have 2-point conversions in my leagues. So that could be, it would have to be a missed kick or a fumbled snap or block or something. But Wallace now has thrown 3 touchdowns in the first half as the Coolers are reeling. Dayton Triangles determined to right the ship after Northborough embarrassed them at home last week. Oh, no, and it's going to be a punt for the Columbia Coolers. They're in trouble now as Dayton has been on fire. Dayton's going to turn it over. Event 3, not a pick 6, fortunately. Field goal blocked. So knowing that, so now narratively, the fact that the Coolers have blocked a field goal tells me that both these PATs were probably blocked, right? Something is wrong, and the Columbia Coolers are getting in and blocking all of their place kicks. That is so sweet. Field goal a kick. What's his name? Anthony, field goal attempt blocked, and the Coolers will get the ball in the final drive of the game using the A charts. It's the best chance for the Coolers to score a touchdown before they go into the tunnel. No, they're going to throw a pick 6. Oh, no, Kingfisher drops back. The young star who won the championship as a rookie throws an INT to the DB. That is Brandeis. And it's going to be a pick 6. Extra point finally matters. Oh my God, did they make a mistake? So 7. They've given up 13 more points as Columbia. Columbia punted, and then through the pick 6, it is 26-6 as the Dayton Triangles are spanking Columbia. A few years ago, Dayton in the actual playoffs beat Columbia 58-10. Flat embarrassing Columbia in their worst defeat in their history. Dayton put it on them, and boy, I'm looking at this is on pace to be 52-12. And Del Branham looking on can't be happy about his defense, but geez, now Kingfisher's thrown a pick 6, and that would be Brandeis for Dayton. So the Dayton Triangles get a pick 6 as he desperately is trying to get down the field to score to keep into the game, and that's what happens when a quarterback gets desperate late. Bad things can happen. The Coolers, after a lecture by Armin Ruiz at halftime, guys, focus, get your stuff together. Kingfisher, stop throwing picks. And defense, please, stop them a couple of times. Here we go. The Coolers come out of the tunnel after a pep talk. And the Coolers are going to score a touchdown. That's what we want to see. 9, 10, 11. The Coolers drive right down the field and punch it in on a counter tray run for Newman. That'll be his 4th touchdown rushing on the season. Newman, counter tray run, PAT. Beautiful. The counter tray. For those who don't know what the counter tray is, look it up. The Washington Redskins dominated in the 80s running that counter tray power run with John Riggins, and I love the counter tray. So yeah, I'm going to bring it back. In my leagues, the counter tray is a thing, baby. Here we go. Counter tray. Dayton reeling after Columbia gets a pep talk, comes out, goes right down the field, and with a power running attack, drives it into the end zone. Newman hoists the ball for the 4th, 5th time this year. He may be leading the league in touchdowns, counting his receptions. Dayton, they've got to find a way to stop Dayton. 4, it's going to be another touchdown for Dayton. You've got to be kidding me. And they're going to have another kick fail. 12. I keep rolling 4s. That's just the way it is, right? We play to find out. Quarterback, naked boot. So Wallace fakes a handoff and naked boots around the end. Nobody home for that Columbia defense. Naked boot fails. Oh my God. Wallace has scored 3 passing touchdowns and now a running touchdown as the Coolers were so tied up in stopping that run down close that he just boots around. Nobody home to seal the weak side end of this defense. And Armin Ruiz rolls his eyes, and I'm sure Del Branham's pulling out his hair. This defense cannot be giving up 30 points a game if they're going to be champs. The Coolers go back to work. 2, it's going to be a punt. Dang, they can't afford to do that either. And last but not least, Dayton in the 3rd quarter. What do? Dayton's going to do it again. Oh my God, Dayton's 12. This is going to be a quarterback fade pass to Davis. The flanker. It's going to be a Wallace fade. It's a blowout, folks. Pass to the flanker. And again, the kick fell. So maybe their field goal kicker's injured. I'm starting to think that one of those blocks, maybe that very first failed PAT. So again, narratively, we can make sense of it. That first failed PAT, the fact that he's missed another one, then been blocked again, then another miss and another miss, that tells me that their place kicker got injured. And they are basically kicking with a backup, like the punter. Janis is probably trying to kick these PATs, and they can't get it done. So that is so cool. So you can start to make a narrative. How come they've missed? One we know is blocked, literally, but the other PATs are just fails. We don't know. They could be blocks, they could be in, but I'm assuming now they're trying to kick with a backup. Either way, things looked good for Columbia. They came out of the halftime pep talk right out onto the field, and they drove down the field, and Newman scored on a power run, made it 7. Unfortunately, that's all they mustered in the 3rd quarter. Wallace scored on a naked boot. Wallace threw another touchdown, 12 more points, 26. It's 38-13. 38-13. I predicted it was going to be 52-12 at the halftime. They're on pace. Columbia, you've got to start scoring. Columbia goes to work. Nope, they're going to settle for a punt as they've maybe given up. They maybe resigned themselves to just getting on the bus and getting out of here. And another touchdown for the Dayton Triangles with a backup, with a punter trying to kick extra points. 9 is going to be power sweep. There it is. Robinson gets another touchdown run on the year. Power sweep. Failed PAT. So again, there's some reason they're not able to kick these PATs thanks to an injured play. Now I know he's injured. When you miss every single PAT, they're kicking with a backup guard or something, right? Some guy, some disaster kicker. They were not prepared for Anthony to get hurt. That is sweet. All right, the Coolers, final drive of the game. They're going to score a touch. No, they're going to kick a field goal. What are you doing? Klein, they get down close, and I guess they think we just don't want to be embarrassed. Well, it's too late for that. Klein kicks a field goal. The Dayton Triangles now have completely demoralized Columbia, and they do end up punting the ball away, and that's going to be EOG, end of game. Holy cow. Robinson scores 6, and Klein hits a field goal. I guess they thought they were just trying to win that quarter. My land. 16 points for the Coolers. 26, 36, 38, 44 for the Dayton Triangles, 3-1. They are the best offense in football. Columbia falls to 1-3, having one of the worst seasons of their career, or at least in the last 10 years. The Dayton Triangles. Now, normally what I would do, if I had my book, I'd break it out and I would compile the box score stats, put them in my book for the season stats, and I would, by the end of the year, I'd have all their numbers and everything. Wallace throws a touchdown to Robinson out of the backfield, 1. A bomb to Davis, 2. A post pass to the tight end, 3. runs one in a naked boot, 4. A fade pass, 5. 5 touchdowns for Wallace, 4 passing, 1 running, and then Robinson on a power sweep against the demoralized team. The fans, you can imagine what the press was saying about the Dayton Triangles when the MBT shut them down. The fans at 2-0 thought this might be another chance for them to start catching Columbia in trophies, but they run into their arch rival. The MBT has won 2 titles at the expense of the Dayton Triangles. There is no doubt of all teams, Dayton must hate the Northborough Tigers. They did break up 2 chances for Dayton to be back-to-back champs, which would have given Dayton 6 titles, and instead MBT has 5 thanks to Dayton. The Coolers finally got off the schneid against a bad San Fran team. They come in here, and unfortunately, they run into the buzzsaw, a very angry Dayton team coached up by Phil Barnhart. Wallace just destroys them, makes Dayton 3-1, and Columbia falls to 1-3 in the Patriot Football League. Next up is San Fran at the best defense in football. That's going to be another win for MBT, I'm pretty sure, which means the MBT and the Plattsburgh Platypus will both meet undefeated in Plattsburgh next week. And I will be updating all stats, and I'll be doing that game on the channel, and I'll include stats so people know, what's happening in the league. Again, we're in our 27th season. This is now after I get 25. Back in January, after I got to the 25th, after I surpassed the 25th season, it was officially tied with the longest career I've ever had in any media. But now we hit 26th and 27. This is now the single longest career I've ever had in my entire life in any game, in any media. And when you've compiled 27 years of data, you will never walk away from it. I will be paying a version of the PFL for the rest of my days. And these teams, all of them in my heart and soul, will stay in this league, even if I expand it at some point. So thank you for watching. This has been Football Time. The Patriot Football League, season 27. The year is 2046. And in my head, it looks like 1940s football. I know in the future, this is way in the future. Who knows what it looks like? But in my head, man, it always looks like mud and muck football, baby. Anyway, and I used the revised 3rd edition to get this game done. Until my definitive book comes in the mail, I'm using this because it's got those possession charts that are in the definitive edition. Thank you for watching. Good day.